go, Mary Katie. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Well, Mary Katie, welcome back. Welcome to 2024.
Happy New Year.
Yes.
We made it.
Indeed. We are here, and everything is relatively quiet-ish. That is until tomorrow.
Are you sure?
When yeah, exactly. Tuesday, you had the big day for petitioning. First off, we do have to throw the disclaimer out there. Of course, you are appearing in this capacity exclusively as the mayor of Wausau and in no other capacity.
Right.
So nothing in this video should be
You said
taken
it.
in any other capacity. But petitions are all in. The ballot is set. So give us an idea. Where do we go from here as far as election day goes?
Yeah, so we will have a primary in February 20th. There will be a primary for mayor, a primary for District 4. And that's what I know of. I guess I wasn't paying attention to the county, so you're going to have to update me on that. But I think probably there's no primary.
Yeah, no primaries in the county
I was paying
side.
attention enough.
Yep.
So, cool. Yeah, so we're excited. I obviously love an election day regardless of who's on the ballot. So we have a lot to look forward to. We're excited for November too, and August, and whatever else comes ahead of us. We're excited about that.
Yeah, Caitlin Bernardi, the city clerk, is certainly going to be earning her pay this year with
busy.
4 elections. But there is going to be some changes in the way that elections look a bit here in Wausau. Obviously, you're still going to vote on a paper ballot. You're still going to mark it with a pen. You're still going to put it in the machine, and the machine will count the votes right there on the spot. But the way you check in for elections in Wausau is going to be a little different this year.
Oh boy. So you're going to have to talk to Caitlin to make sure everything's correct. I do know that the absentee ballots, the envelopes specifically have changed. You'll notice different colors, different directions. And then we've also changed some of the polling locations. So my polling location has changed. I'm now voting at North Central Healthcare. So, there's a couple different changes there too.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Badger books are going to be in use everywhere this year.
I was wondering what you were referring to.
Yes,
Badger books. So we've been testing it out in a couple polling sites across the city. So far, so good. Everyone really likes it. You still have to sign in the same. It's similar, but you're just doing it electronically. So nothing weird going on. Clerk Caitlin can give you all of the technical kind of details of it. But so far, poll workers seem to like it across the board, and folks signing in too.
Yeah, and that's just, again, a way to make the election accessible, easy for everybody to participate in. And, of course, everybody should participate in the election.
If you're not registered to vote, you should. Come on down to City Hall, register. If you're in Wausau, we'll make sure that you're able to vote.
And that you can always check your voter registration status as well at the myvote.wi.gov website.
You should be sitting in the seat.
They make it real easy. I always make it a point to check mine before every election because, as I say, and I'm sure you've maybe heard in other terms, I say it's every election, every time, no excuses. Because in my position in news, I've seen too many elections that come down to a coin flip.
Oh, yeah, we can't have that.
A roll of the dice, a drawing of pieces of paper.
Why would you leave leadership to chance?
Yes.
Go on down and vote.
Indeed. And and again, that's going to be coming up on February 20th, and that will be for everybody in the city of Wausau.
Yep, because we have that mayor primary. But yeah, if you're in District 4, you're going to want to make sure you show up doubly because you also have that alder race.
Indeed. And then onto the business of the city, the other business. We've got a much talked about joint meeting between Waterworks and the city's HR committee. As the old saying goes, explain this to me like I'm 5.
Yeah. So we have a utility commission. It's kind of a statutorily different setup for the governance of both wastewater and drinking water. So, it's largely been kind of quiet, but as you can imagine, over the last few years with the new drinking water treatment facility, the PFAS stuff, variety of needs, people are paying a little bit more attention to what's going on there, and especially when it comes to council because they're getting questions about it. So, there are some requests for some positions, there's some requests for different kinds of pay, and so I thought it would be really important that we have that conversation together as a unified city and utility because we want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. So right now, utility employees technically can be governed separately, but I particularly like when we treat our employees equitably. So that's kind of the discussion we're going to have. Make sure we're all aligned, consider these requests, and then figure out how we want to move forward together.
And I know and maybe this isn't part of a larger discussion as to how the water utility is funded, because I know there's a lot you're going to be examining as well, this $2 million payment that the city makes, and essentially to the utility annually. So this could be part of, I guess, maybe a much larger discussion that's probably going to be going on throughout the year.
Yeah, I would expect we continue having the discussion over that. We call it a payment in lieu of taxes, a pilot payment. And the utility actually pays the city for that. So there was a lot of discussion over whether or not that's the direction we want to move. There are cities that do things differently. We've even heard discussions about the city committee maybe governing or, having a bigger say in what utilities look like. So, we have a lot of opportunity to have discussions. There are a lot of changes that we've already put in place. So I think there's opportunity to make sure that elected folks have the last say. And I think that's really what I'm hearing from people on council and even from our community, right? They want to make sure that they have a say, and it's not necessarily how they feel sometimes when you have appointed citizens.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the backing out even further, the 10,000 foot view of this is how does this all fit in relation to the water rates in Wausau? Because in theory, right now, the water rates that we pay are what's supporting the employees at the drinking plant. Is it going to stay that way? What kind of impact will that have on rates? Is probably what people care about the most in this discussion.
Absolutely, that's what people care about. I can tell you, as somebody who has had many conversations in my office, on the street, anywhere I go, people are talking about water rates, which is fair. It's very much a heavy lift for our community, needed, but it was heavy lift. So I think that's probably what you'll hear a lot about during that meeting, because people want to make sure that that they're paying the money to go to the right things, and that we're not going to them again and asking for more. So I think that's really the big discussion will be about rates and how that affects what we're doing with the utility.
So then, that being said, how close could we be then to be maybe showing up on Monday and saying, here's what water rates could look like if we do this, here's what they could look like if we do this, here's the way to lower them the easiest? I'm guessing we're not to that point yet.
So I can tell you, though, during our budget meeting in November, we committed the utility to giving a kind of financial analysis of those options. Now, we looked at our schedule, and at that meeting, the budget meeting, we talked about that happening in August. So that would be after an audit, all of that stuff. So that's probably the earliest you'll have some numbers to start to analyze that. But we're taking it seriously. We want to make sure that we have the right data, because really that's going to be driving the discussion, and you have to be able to trust that data.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because you've already done this once. If you're going to go back and redo it again, you definitely want to make sure that you get it done right and get it done in the way that benefits the ratepayers the most, which naturally means something that's going to lower the water rates from where they are right now.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are hoping for. And we've had this discussion also in the context of the lawsuits, right, and the settlements. We're anticipating to hear more about that in the coming months. So that would add another kind of data point for us to consider, maybe some flexibility there too, maybe paying off some debt, maybe figuring that out. So I think we will have some good opportunity to have a robust discussion about what we should be doing.
One other thing that's coming up next week, the city's actually going to have if I remember right, it's like an open house for this summer's launch of the lead service line project. This is interesting because it's basically the city coming in and saying, hey, contractors, come work for us, right?
Yeah, we're really excited about this. We are going to need a lot of folks, a lot of hands, a lot of people doing things. So we want to make sure that if contractors are interested, they have all the information they need. So we're going to share that with them. And we also want to tell them what we expect, the kinds of timelines, the kinds of services, all of that. So we're excited about that. We hope a lot of people show up. I've been talking to some of the folks in LIUNA, specifically the state union, with some of these organizations, and they're really excited too to start participating in this. So I think we have opportunity, and I think too you're going to see people entering that kind of a career field too, because we're going to need so many people. And it's not just Wausau now. You heard a few weeks ago from the EPA saying, hey, we expect you municipalities to replace all your lead service lines in 10 years. And so there was a lot of kind of gasping and worries in other communities. And I said, all right, well, we're going to get her done in 5. So we will lead the way. We'll have your plumbers ready to go.
And then I know another thing that we had talked to some of the project managers on this about is the opportunities that it maybe presents for the kind of the technical education students, and along those lines to maybe work alongside and help process some of these jobs to get that on the job training.
Absolutely. We have a lot of opportunity for that. We've talked, it's hard because we're building this while we're flying, which is kind of nerve-wracking to some people, but largely the process is the same, or largely the same. So I think we'll have a lot of opportunity to repeat that work and make sure that people who are new to the field or maybe apprenticing get that experience that they need so that they can become, the next, I don't know, is it Bob Vila? Is Bob Vila still a thing?
I believe so. I think he is. I think he's a podcaster these days.
Okay, all right. Hopefully that's good. I did not ever Google Bob Vila, so we'll have to look into that after this.
I haven't either. I would have just said Tim Taylor.
From
Tool Time,
but
that's just my era. But that's
I guess I'm a little older than you.
I am not going there right now. But yeah, that's a great opportunity for the city presents itself. And I think not to be understated is, again, that opportunity that it creates for a career path for somebody in the technical and the trades, because that's obviously something that's needed everywhere these days.
These are family sustaining jobs, and if you're interested in it, this is the work that would be great. We're going to need it across the state, across the region, across the nation. So if that's something you're interested in, let's talk.
One more thing before we let you go. Obviously, we've got a lot of empty space in the city right now, particularly in downtown. Where are we at as far as mall redevelopment and any other major redevelopment in the city? Yeah,
well, as you know, we just had our big ribbon cutting for the Imaginarium, which is really exciting. I've been following them on social media, and it sounds like they're busy every single day. Every single day they're open. So that's really exciting, and obviously home furniture continues to thrive. Now we are expecting of our developer partners, T-Wall, and our just partners, WAS, to have an update for council on how we're moving forward. By March is the deadline we kind of talked about. In the contract, it's June, but by March we should have a little bit more robust of an idea of what's happening, what's the timeline, what more do we need to do, are there other options we need to consider? So I think we can start to think that's going to be big. Right around election time, unfortunately, I guess. But, it's always a deluge.
Yeah, indeed. And looking at the timeline for that, I know the city's already done some work in the area. Do you have the list? What is the work that the city's gotten done? And what's the work right now that maybe you're waiting for T-Wall to say, okay, we're ready for this to be done?
Yeah, so we did a lot of the infrastructure. So you saw the stuff, well, you don't see it, it's underneath the streets, but you see the streets, you see a new street. And so we have some more of that to do once development starts over by Forest and that kind of area. So that's a lot of what you'll see us doing. And then they will be building up. Housing, we need it.
Yes, the plan is building up and starting sometime April, May, June, right?
Yeah, that's the goal. And again, the council said we expect an update on the progress and process of this by March. So I guess the public can expect that too.
And anything else then, possibly going on in the city this year? Any big development? Talking maybe, I don't know, Chick-fil-A, Red Lobster, all those things, right?
Why are you making me talk about Red Lobster? Nothing there, but I will say we swore in our new fire chief last month. Really exciting, Jeremy Kopp. And on Friday, we swore in our new deputy chief, Justin Plus, who we're kind of taking from Wisconsin Rapids. He's great. He's been a member of the Professional Firefighters Association Executive Board. He is appointed by the governor to be on the EMS board, so he comes with a lot of great experience and leadership, so we're really excited. He's a really good dude. You're going to want to meet him.
Yeah, and that really solidifies the leadership team then in both places, right? Because we kind of ended the year with a little changeover at both the police and the fire department.
And now it's time to get our butts in gear and get that kind of process going. So I know we have strategic planning ahead for both fire and police. So excited to take part in that and see what they come up with their needs.
course you talk about strategic.
I'm sorry, it's I can't. It's my jam, and actually, some of these folks that we hired, it's their jam too. So there's a lot of nerds in this city. Get excited.
Indeed, yes. Nothing like a good strategic plan in Mary Katie's world. Always appreciate the time. We'll look forward to chatting again next month.
See you later.